You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. In interviews conducted by USA Today with more than 24 researchers, academics, educators, juvenile justice advocates, legal experts, and black girls, the researchers found that black girls are being criminalized at alarming rates. They are subjects of negative stereotypes by educators, counselors, caseworkers, and judges who fail to address their trauma and emotional needs, and by school discipline policies that push black girls out of school and punish them more often and more harshly than their white peers. Now, Erica, we often hear conversations about what's happening with young black boys in schools, but the numbers are extremely troubling when you see what is happening with black girls.
Right. And it's been happening for quite some time, Roland. And there was also a study out that talked about how black girls are viewed as adults as early as age 5. So that really does start the ball rolling on responsibility, the way that black girls' bodies are looked at. All of that gets started early. So that innocence period that's we seen that's given more to our counterparts, that sympathy, the delicacy, that is definitely afforded someone who is not black. For black girls, it's definitely not that way. So the criminal justice side of the house for black girls is seen much, much different, a lot more rougher. The videos that we've been seeing over the past few years of law enforcement engaging young black girls by slamming them. The pool party, I believe that was in your home state of Texas. Where the young McKinney, Texas.
14-year-old girl.
Slammed to the ground by an adult law enforcement officer. So
South Carolina classroom with the girls in the classroom, the resource officer threw her out of the desk, slammed her to the ground as well.
Right, and then then you have that trauma. So that's a message. So then you have all of the people who are around watching that, and they're understanding and receiving that communication that, and if you get out of line, the same will happen to you.
And obviously, Mustafa, what then happens is that impacts your record, what schools you can transfer to, impacts what colleges you go to, and so what may happen with a young black girl in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade still follows her high school and college.
Yeah, we got this system where we dehumanize our people, especially our young girls, and as the sister said, they put this label of hypersexualization on folks, and all that stuff comes together, and it really anchors you to poverty. It anchors you to making it more difficult for you to be able to be successful, and it follows you throughout. And then there's the psychological impacts that happen where you begin to believe that you are not worthy, that you're not good enough, and then folks will utilize that to play games with these laws and enforcement and all these things that we're talking about. And we have to stop this cycle that's going on. And that means that we got to hold people accountable. And again, I'm sorry, we keep talking about voting, but it goes back to our vote. It goes back to our vote to determine who are the district attorneys. It goes back to our votes to determine who are the judges.
Who are the school board
who are on the school board
members.
All these things come together, and we've got to hold people accountable. And we have power to do that unless we continue to give it away.
Greg, it also speaks to the reality of the difference when we had significant numbers of highly educated, older, black male and female teachers. But when you have schools now and you have these young white women and young white men in schools who don't know how to handle black kids. I can remember going to visit my nieces when they were in elementary school, and they were on the playground, and I was going out to see one of them to have lunch with her, and I'm walking down the hall, and these 2 white female teachers with this young black boy, and he is giving them lots of lip, and I'm walking by, and they clearly don't know what to do. I was like, hey, I got this. Who the hell are you talking to? And so I jammed homeboy up, got right in his face, and said, Dan, is that how you talk to adults? I jammed him up. And literally the look in his eye was like, oh Lord, this black man is jumping in me. And then when I got done, I said, y'all need to learn how to act like some adults and don't let some little kid push y'all around. Then I walked out. And the reality is, I'm sure you can remember what it was like when you had black male teachers who you didn't play with.
Roland, we're in that first generation that have been bused. I remember elementary school when us black kids in inner city Nashville got bussed out to some of these white elementary schools. And I remember black girls would not take off their coats because they wanted to put in the cloakroom. They don't know where those coats are. They couldn't see my coat, and they would get in trouble for wearing their coats in class. I'm just thinking back on the gender dimension of white supremacy. Now, we've had some intra problems, gender problems. In our community, we got some issues we need to deal with, had nothing to do with white people. I'm talking about even before we got on those boats. But once we got on those boats, it was black women who represented in many ways the existential threat to white supremacy. Michael Gomez writes about this. It was the rape of black women in some ways that created the circumstances out of which black community was formed. Because now you're talking about negating the future. If you want to see the power of black women, you don't have to look any further than the clip you just showed. When you got an Afro-Latino sitting in the chair, part Adam Clayton Powell, part Shirley Chisholm, and her sister from Boston is reading the riot act around this black identity extremism that you well identified earlier as the thing they're gearing up for now to try to stop us. This is black women and always has been black women. But when that long form report you all sent us to read about this terrorism against black women with that young sister who loved to read, and then they beat her. Now, I'm a graduate of in-school suspension, so I know what that means as a black boy. Yeah. But to your point, when we had black teachers, when we had black communities, yeah, we didn't have the same resources, but one thing we did have is these sisters and brothers who were like our parents in those schools. The solution to this is to get away from these people, not to go toward them.
I got a phone call from my sister today about my 15-year-old niece losing her damn mind and cussing out the teacher and showing her the hand.
What?
I'm going to deal with your ass in 2 hours on FaceTime.
Oh, my God. What an announcement.
But there was a time
because first of all, my wife has already told her, you might want to deal with this with me, because when he called, there's going to be a different tone to this conversation. Because, see, let me be real clear with y'all. I know some of y'all like, look, I will fly to Houston to whoop that ass and fly back home. Just so y'all understand, I don't play that. But the reality is, because first of all, I didn't sit here and spend all that money and bust my butt raising my nieces for them to act a damn fool at 15.
Well, it wasn't necessary before, Roland. I mean, somebody would have stopped that in the school.
Right. But the dynamic, what we have to understand, when you got 2% black male teachers.
There you go.
When you have a different type of black female teacher.
And disempowered black women in schools.
And yes, and you're dealing again with largely white teachers.
That's right.
Don't know how to deal with our children. That also plays a part in this. Go ahead, final comment.
Or just don't want to. I can just remember back to my grandmother who taught in Thomasville, Georgia. One of the things she told us about the stories when they actually used to do home visits, that she would have a kid that would come to school. He would be late, lay on the desk, and want to take a nap. When she went to go and visit the home, she was able to see he was up at 4 o'clock in the morning chopping wood for his family. So what she was able to do then was to take that information back and make sure that he had a lunch, to make sure that everything for him was taken care of, because she knew the challenges that his mother and he had with his other brothers and sisters at home. So bringing that back to the community and the dehumanization, I think it's really incumbent on our community to love on our children ourselves. That's really what, that's the nexus.
Like, and just so y'all know, when I'm whooping that ass, I'm loving.
Right.
Just so y'all know.
Right. But
and for the folks out there who don't believe in it, that's your problem.
It hurts you more than it hurt her.
Really hurt
you more than it hurt.
I'm just saying.
My daddy used to say to me.
I'm just saying.
You can laugh out later.
I don't play.
Right.
I don't play. And we ain't having no two-way conversation.
Right.
I keep telling y'all, if y'all want to sit here and y'all want to talk and y'all want to mediate and y'all want to pray, call my wife. God gave her a spirit of comfort. God gave me a spirit of discomfort. Because when I had a conversation, it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to be one way, just so y'all know. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, inviting you to come out swinging and join me for a day of golf at the University for Parents Golf Tournament on Saturday, June 22nd in Southwest Atlanta's Wolf Creek Golf Course. It's a golf tournament with a purpose, a fundraiser for the University for Parents, a program designed to empower parent learners through education, inspiration, and support. This is all tied to Susan Taylor's mentoring program, National Cares Mentoring Program. Now, when you empower the parents, you also empower the children as well. The location of the tournament is 3000 Union Road, and the shotgun start time is 9 a.m. To register, go to www.u4parents.org. The letter U4parents.org. Hey guys, tomorrow, do me a favor when you do this here, put the website at the bottom of the screen here. It's a little small on that flyer. For more information, call 770-316-3487, 770-316-3487. And I certainly hope to see you there. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered.